Welcome to the Holy Bible Study with Shelby. Well, today is Genesis chapter 38. Before we get started, hit that like and subscribe button and notification bell so you'll know when we drop the video. Now, it's going to be a certain part of this chapter that's going to get pretty sensitive, and we should have children anywhere from 10 to 12 that's really going to understand what you're teaching them by God's Word, okay? Some things here are pretty sensitive. Fathers and mothers that I'm going to try to keep it nice and clean as I can, but you know, what's in the Bible is what's in the Bible, and you have to explain it and take it from what it is, what God's trying to tell you, okay? So I'll let you know when we get to this certain point, because a lot of the wolves in these churches today, they don't explain this stuff. They mislead you with nonsense without the proof in the Bible. And where you want to find the proof of the truth is in the Bible. Anything else man talking about is just not, you know, worth listening to. Okay? So with that said, I'll be playing the audio, but I'll be stopping it to explain certain situations. With that said, make sure you have your King James Version Bible, pen and paper, and patience. And man, I hope you got the family at the table, because it starts with us. Okay? And with that said, Genesis chapter 38, and make sure I queued up for us. All right, let's go.
Genesis 38. And it came to pass at that time that Judah went down from his brethren, and turned in to a certain Adulamite, whose name was Hira. And Judah saw there a daughter of a certain Canaanite, whose name was Shua. And he took her, and went in unto her, and she conceived and bare a son, and he called his name
Now, Judah is one of the 12 brothers, okay? And he met a certain Canaanite woman. And he's going to have 3 sons by this woman. And so I want you to pay attention to each 3 of these sons, because there's some things I'll explain to you as we go on, okay? Let's go.
And she conceived again and bare a son. She called his name Onan.
Now, this one, I want you to really pay attention to, because this is where the sensitive part that I mentioned at the beginning of the video can be very sensitive, that I'm going to explain about this second son here. Okay? Let's continue.
And she yet again conceived and bare a son, and called his name Shelah. And he was at Chezib, when she bare him. And Judah took a wife for his firstborn, whose name was Tamar. And Judah's firstborn, was wicked in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord slew him.
Now, this first son, clearly he was wicked. Now, what he did, God didn't give us no information. He just obviously did something really wicked. Okay? This is the first son. Let's continue.
And Judah said unto Onan, Go in unto thy brother's wife, and marry her, and raise up seed to thy brother.
Now, this is the one we need to pay attention to, because he just got a command from his father. And he told him, Go into thy brother's wife and marry her and raise up seed to thy brother. See, at this time, Israel, one of the brothers died, the next brother had to step in and marry the wife. And the point of this is keeping the kinsmanship together, connected, the lineage. They couldn't go outside to strangers or anything, other nations. They had to stay within their own tribe, okay? So pay attention to what happened to this Onan, okay? Let's continue.
And Onan knew that the seed should not be his. And it came to pass, when he went in unto his brother's wife, that he spilled it on the ground. lest that he should give seed to his brother.
Now, here's where the sensitive part comes in, folks. Okay? Let's read. I'm reading 9 again. And Onan knew that the seed should not be his. That means that he wasn't going to go through with the act anyway. Okay? And the act was to go into his sister. That means sexual, intercourse. Okay? And it came to pass when he went into her. Now pay attention, went into her. They're having sex, okay? I can put it only nice as I can keep it clean here. Okay? He's having sex with her. Okay? And he spilled it on the ground, lest that he should give seed to his brother. Now, he went into her. So during sex, he decided not to, the only way you're going to have a child if you complete the sex. And you know what I mean, parents, and you may have to explain this to the young people. Because like I said, I'm keeping it clean, keeping it real. But you know what this is all about, men and women. Okay? He decided to do something different. I mean, he was going to enjoy the woman, but he wasn't going to get her pregnant. So we know where this is going, men and women. Okay? And he spilled the seed on the ground. And we know what that is. So, like I said, you can explain that to your young ones. Okay? I'll leave that to you. But here's the problem. A lot of people try to use this very verse right here. And once again, I just have to tell you like it is. They want to use this to say, see, you're not supposed to pleasure yourself. I'm going to say it a nice way like that. Men and women. And this is where they pick this up at. No, this wasn't an act of this guy pleasuring himself. And one way he was, because he was sleeping with the brother's wife to get some pleasure, but he didn't want to finish the act to take on a seed, a child. But he wasn't by himself doing something to what the false wolves out there are trying to have you to believe this verse mean, that it has something doing pleasuring yourself when you by yourself, men and women. Like I said, trying to keep it real, trying to keep it clean, okay? So I'm going to take you to a verse because we read where God killed him before that. Okay? Drop down 10. And the thing which he did displeased the Lord, wherefore he slew him also. So it's 2 sons he killed. He killed one for being wicked and one for breaking a law. This man broke a law. This young boy broke a law. And I'm going to show you what that law is. Okay? So if you will, let's go to Leviticus chapter 18. Leviticus chapter 18. And we're going to read verse 16. Okay? I'll give you a second to get there. You see, that's why you have to read the Word of God. You can't listen to what man tell you. God got the understanding here. All you have to do is read it. If they would take you chapter by chapter and verse by verse, then you would already know this. And some of you might already don't know this. I'm talking to the ones who just now getting into the Bible. But anyway, Leviticus chapter 18, we're going to read verse 16. Okay, and it reads, "Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy brother's wife. It is thy brother's nakedness." So there was a law in Leviticus that another brother couldn't sleep with his brother's wife. It was against the law. Well, I know you're saying, well, I mean, his father told him to do it. Yeah, but in this situation, a brother died. So he could do it now. In this case, I'm just showing you, this is where he got himself killed. And we're going to get to the next one. Now, let's go to Leviticus chapter 20. Let me get there with you. And we're going to read verse 21. Give you time to get there. And once again, it was against the law back then for a brother to be messing around with his brother's wife. But in this case here, and this lesson that we're talking about right here, this Onan, his brother died, so it was lawful for him to go to his brother's wife. Okay, but here's where he messed up at. Okay, Leviticus chapter 20 and verse 21 reads, "And if a man should take his brother's wife, it is an unclean thing, and he has uncovered his brother's nakedness. They should be childless." Okay? So, now, let's go back to the lesson here. What did he do? He called himself going to get some kind of little satisfaction of sleeping with the brother's wife, but he didn't want to complete the whole completion of the, to bring a child into this world. He's going to call himself just going to get a little pleasure out of it, and then he's going to spill the seed. So he broke a law. This is why he got killed. This ain't got nothing to do with a man or woman being by themselves, pleasuring themselves. That's what the wolves out there have you thinking. Okay? So with that said, we're done with that. Just go back and review it again, especially the 2 verses I gave you. Also, I'm going to give you 2 more verses. You can read that on your own time that confirm what I'm telling you. This is all about keeping a bloodline, kinship intact. So I'd like for you to, if you have your note and paper like I asked you to, jot down Ruth, the book of Ruth, chapter 3, and read 9 through 13. Also, go to the book of Deuteronomy and read chapter 25, 5 through 10. Lastly, Matthew, chapter 1. Read verses 2 and 3, plus 4 and 5. Well, basically 1 through 5. And it's going to make you understand this kinsmanship, keeping the lineage intact. Well, this son here, this Onan, he got killed for that. Why? Because he broke the law. He slept with his brother's sister, but he didn't finish the process of what for this woman to bring a child to keep that kingmanship connected. He was just getting gratification, satisfying himself, and then spilled the seed on the ground. Like I say, men and women, we know what we're talking about. You're going to have to explain it to your children in your own way, okay? So let's move on. I just wanted you to know this is where they get the lie from. Okay? Now, let's make something clear. First, this pleasuring yourself situation when you're alone. It is a sin to lust after something. Okay? Okay? And I'm not going to go no further than that, because you know what I'm talking about. We have sights, even lusting after another woman or man outside your marriage. Lusting is lusting. That is a sin. Okay? Let's move on. Okay. Let me get back to where we were, and let's move on.
And the thing which he did displeased the Lord, wherefore he slew him also. Then said Judah to Tamar his daughter-in-law, Remain a widow at thy father's house, till Shelah my son be grown. For he said, Lest peradventure he die also, as his brethren did. And Tamar went and dwelt in her father's house.
Now Judah, he had one more son, which is Shelhi, but he's young. He can't, he can't give no woman no child right now. He got to get of an age where he can be able to give a woman a child. And this turmoil was supposed to be the woman. And so she's waiting around because she wants to be a part of this lineage. Where Judah, he's got other things on his mind, and the more he's getting older, the more this Tamar is waiting. I think she figured out that, you know what, he's going to let me have his son or not. I think at this point, if we keep reading, she's going to give up, and so she's going to do something a little crafty here. Okay? So let's move on.
And in process of time, the daughter of Shua, Judah's wife, died. And Judah was comforted and went up unto his sheep shearers to Timnath, he and his friend Hira, the Adulamite. And it was told Tamar, saying, Behold, thy father-in-law goeth up to Timnath to shear his sheep. And she put her widow's garments off from her, and covered her with a veil, and wrapped herself, and sat in an open place, which is by the way to Timnath. For she saw that Shelah was grown, and she was not given unto him to wife.
So, here's where this woman is saying, okay, I got the widow's garment on, still waiting for the son here, and he's grown enough now. I mean, she's thinking he should be my man, I should be bearing children for him. But her father-in-law, is bypassing her for some reason. So she takes off the widow garment, and she puts on harlot clothes. And we know what that is, men and women. Explain to your children. She's harlot clothes. We know that she's dressed up as a prostitute now. Okay? So she finna do something crafty herself. Okay? Let's move on.
When Judah saw her, he thought her to be an harlot, because she had covered her face. And he turned unto her by the way, and said, Go to, I pray thee, let me come in unto thee. For he knew not that she was his daughter-in-law. And she said, What wilt thou give me, that thou mayest come in unto me? And he said, I will send thee a kid from the flock. And she said, Wilt thou give me a pledge, till thou send it? And he said, What pledge shall I give thee? And she said, Thy signet, and thy bracelets, and thy staff that is in thine hand. And he gave it her, and came in unto her. And she conceived by him.
Okay, so Judah, he didn't know this was his daughter-in-law because she had a veil over her head, so he couldn't tell. He thought she was a harlot. Okay, and she was wanting something from him because she wanted, she'd say, "Okay, you want me? You're gonna have to give me something." Well, he was trying to give her something, so I don't want that. I want your signet. A signet was a ring. It was, he was Judah, and he had a tribe, and he was over the tribe. And so the signet was his ring of power, and his bracelets, his staff. Okay? So he had to give her all three of those things for her to let him have sex with her. And he wound up having sex with her, and they had a child. Okay? Now, this is his daughter-in-law. The one that he was supposed to give his son to. Okay? And not only Judah is doing something nefarious here, because he's sleeping with a harlot, and he know that's against the law. Okay? He's trying to be, as men, we go outside the box and think we're being slick Willie, but we wind up getting caught eventually. Okay? Let's continue.
And she arose and went away, and laid by her veil from her, and put on the garments of her widowhood. And Judah sent the kid by the hand of his friend the Adulamite, to receive his pledge from the woman's hand, but he found her not.
Now, once all this happened, Tamar, the woman that Judah slept with, she disappeared. So Judah sent somebody to go back and get his bracelet and his signet ring and his staff. But see, she was slick. She was already gone. They couldn't find her. Okay? This made Judah worry. Okay? And he was hoping that she went away and never came back. But let's find out what happened.
Then he asked the men of that place, saying, Where is the harlot that was openly by the wayside? And they said, There was no harlot in this place. And he returned to Judah and said, I cannot find her. And also the men of the place said that there was no harlot in this place. And Judah said, Let her take it to her, lest we be shamed. Behold, I sent this kid, and thou hast not found her. And it came to pass about 3 months after that it was told Judah, saying, Tamar, thy daughter-in-law, hath played the harlot, and also, behold, she is with child by whoredom. And Judah said, Bring her forth, and let her be burnt.
So 3 months later, she shows up. But Judah don't know this is his daughter-in-law. And like I say, there's a problem when you was a harlot at this time, and from part of the children of Israel, you would have died. And they were getting ready to burn her up. But guess what? Well, let's go on and keep reading.
When she was brought forth, she sent to her father-in-law, saying, By the man whose these are, am I with child? And she said, Discern, I pray thee. Whose are these? The signet, and bracelets, and staff.
Judah cold busted. I can only imagine seeing the look on his face. And he in his tribe right now, and he better be very careful how he reacts to this. Okay. So she shows up, and they getting ready to burn her up, but she got this 3 items, and Judah he's trying to think, how did you get this? Because remember, she had a veil over her face. Okay, he didn't know who she was. Let's continue.
And Judah acknowledged them, and said, She hath been more righteous than I, because that I gave her not to Shelah my son. And he knew her again no more.
He knew again no more. So at least he manned up. I did something wicked, and she didn't do nothing wrong. I was supposed to give her to my son, but I didn't. But on his defense, he didn't know that she pulled this. But he couldn't wrestle with it either, because he had a whole tribe looking at him crazy. He probably got burnt up. Okay, but he didn't see her again ever. Okay, let's continue.
And it came to pass in the time of her travail that, behold, twins were in her womb. And it came to pass, when she travailed, that the one put out his hand, and the midwife took and bound upon his hand a scarlet thread, saying, This came out first. And it came to pass, as he drew back his hand, that, behold, his brother came out. And she said, How hast thou broken forth? This breach be upon thee. Therefore his name was called Pharez.
Now, this is kind of interesting, these two twins here, because it reminds you of Jacob and Esau. Remember when Esau was born, Jacob grabbed his heel. In this situation here, the first one came out and had this pretty much of a veil wrapped around his finger, because he was going to be the first heir. But the brother came out simultaneously in front of him. Okay? Just wanted to point that out to you. Let's continue.
And afterward came out his brother, that had the scarlet thread upon his hand, and his name was called Zerah.
Okay. So, we learned something on the way of learning something. Okay? And we understand now when we're talking about in verse let's see what first verse 9. Don't let people fool you about the situation we're talking about, what really happened in verse 9. It is a sin to lust, but this wasn't a situation that people try to make it to be. This is talking about this boy was killed because he broke a law. God killed them. Because see, when God got things in order, he expects you to follow things. And right now, in 2025, the whole world is out of order. Okay? The children of Israel is scattered at all four corners and still scattered today. Okay? So with that said, that's Genesis chapter 38. Judah and Tamar is the title. We'll be coming out with Genesis chapter 39 soon. Hit that like and subscribe button, because this is God's will. We share this word with other people. You're not doing me no favors. Once again, it's not about me. It's about us doing God's will. And with that said, have a nice day. Be peaceful. And thank you for your time.